I was trying to save this particular discussion until Pokemon Fan Magazine came out, but it's not going to be released for another 4 days, so leaks probably won't happen until tomorrow or after I already recorded this video. But I just wanted to go ahead and start discussing all the information that we have. Pokemon! 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 Hello everyone, I'm Dustin Benzel, and welcome to another Pokemon XYZ anime discussion. Today we're going to talk about Zygarde, Ash Greninja, and the trailer that was revealed for the XYZ series. And a little bit of other stuff, maybe we'll throw in some here and stuff. So anyway, let's jump right into the Zygarde forms. Okay, so I was kind of wrong. I didn't know what I was kind of talking about. I didn't know what I was talking about when I was talking about Zygarde Cell in my previous video. Apparently, there were actually two versions. I thought they were kind of the same, just in different positions, I guess. But Zygarde Cell is like the Zygarde core that we know about, that little blob creature that we've seen before. Zygarde Cell is this flat shell, basically. It's like its skin, basically. If Zygarde core were to shed its skin like a snake or something, that's what it kind of looks like. That is Zygarde Cell. When I was talking about flat form, I didn't even know what I was talking about then, actually, because I thought it was talking about normal Zygarde, and I was like confused because it's like, wait, but the original Zygarde's the 50% form, so I just said, Zygarde Cell! Whoop-de-doo. So, sorry about that. But anyway, let's move forward and talk about Zygarde Cell, Zygarde Core, 10% form, 50% form, complete form, and we'll talk about the relations with each other. So anyway, Zygarde Cell, this flat version that you can see over here. Over here in this general direction. So what does it say about Zygarde Cell? This stage has been identified as the single cells that make up Zygarde. Cells do not possess any will or thought processes. They're found scattered throughout the region. Since they can't use any moves, researchers question whether they can even be called Pokemon. Now, the interesting thing about this, and in the discussion in the forums, is that there was a little humorous situation going on whether or not whether it'd be funny if Ash were to actually capture one of these Zygarde cells or whatever. You know, like like if Ash were to see that and it's like, what is that? And it says, and the Pokedex says, Zygarde Cell. This stage has been identified as the single cells that make up Zygarde. Sweet! Cells do not possess any will or thought processes. They are found scattered throughout the region. Alright, I gotta catch this thing. Go, Pokeball! Since they can't use moves, researchers question whether they can even be called Pokemon. Oh, wait, what? Ding! Ash captures a Zygarde Cell. That would be an amusing situation. But I don't think it's ever going to happen. Anyway, let's move on to Zygarde Core, which is basically a more active version. Like if Zygarde Cell is just the skin, and apparently it's kind of weird that these Zygarde cells do not possess any will or thought processes. I wonder if they just move instinctually or naturally or whatever. Well, they don't have any will, so based on what... Okay, anyway, let's talk about Zygarde Core, and then we'll go back to Zygarde Cell real quick. At this stage, Zygarde Core, the aspect of Zygarde is a little bit more than a part of the Pokemon's brain. Unlike the cells, the cores are self-aware and can communicate with cells and other cores via telepathy. When a change occurs in the local region's ecosystems, cores have been known to take action. So, I'm guessing, as I relate it back to Zygarde Cell, the Zygarde cores are the ones that control the cell. And here's what I think happens. I think when a Zygarde core and a Zygarde cell come together, I think it immediately creates Zygarde 10% form. I'm not really sure. In the Mega Evolution Act 4 trailer, we saw Zygarde core glowing, so presumably it would reach its next form, which is Zygarde 10% form. But Zygarde 10% form. Zygarde 10% is the form that the Zygarde core takes when it gathers 10% of the cells nearby. Capable of traveling over 60 miles an hour, it defeats enemies with its sharp fangs and its incredible speed. I don't know what this means, but I will discuss it after I discuss all of the forms here. But so, yeah, basically when the Zygarde core gathers the cells, apparently, the Zygarde cells, so basically when they come together, it seems that Zygarde core with Zygarde cell comes to be Zygarde 10% form in some fashion or another. Then we get into Zygarde 50% form. The legendary Pokemon watches over and maintains the local ecosystem. Until recently, this was the only known form of Zygarde. In actuality, this form only has 50% of the cells in its structures. Yeah. So I'm assuming that the Zygarde 50% form that we see in the XY games, I think it's like the central hub or the master hive of these other particular forms and stuff. So I think when a Zygarde core, I don't know if Zygarde is the most primal state of Zygarde, but we know that there seems to be multiple Zygarde cores possibly. I'm gonna have to watch the Mega Evolution Act 4 to see if those lifeless Zygarde cores were actually cores and whether or maybe they were cells, but they didn't look like cores to me. They didn't look like cells to me. They looked like cores that had been defeated, and Chespin grabs one of the ones that it just could grab. But I'll have to check to make sure. But yeah, so it seems that Zygarde cores seem to be just through the ecosystem and as well as the cells, and then when something happens to the ecosystem. So anyway, yeah, so I think the Zygarde 50% form is like the central hub. I think it's the form that's primarily put together. It's the one that sleeps and rests, and the 10% form or cores or cells need to come together with Zygarde 50% form to create its complete form, which says this. This is the perfect form that Zygarde takes when the core gathers 100% of the cells. When the ecosystem is under threat and the core concludes that the 50% form will be unable to deal with it, the core takes on the complete form. Its power is said to be greater than that of legendary Pokemon Xerneas and Yveltal. So basically, yes, I think the 50% form is like basically it's not really, now that I think about it, maybe it's not so much a central hub or like the mother brain, I guess you could say, and these other forms are just like working slightly independent and works with Zygarde 50% form. I think maybe what happens is Zygarde core is actually the brain of everything. So when Zygarde is like resting in its 50% form, I think what it does is it sheds its brain and it just sits in the cave, Terminius Cave, where we actually found it in the XY games, while Zygarde core is traveling around the world checking on the ecosystem and like possibly along with Cell with the Zygarde cells and watching over, and if the Zygarde core feels like it's in danger, then it becomes Zygarde 10% form. And then I feel like when Zygarde core, when its Zygarde form connects with Zygarde 50% form, I think that's when it reaches complete form. Although I'm not really sure, because Zygarde 10% form says that Zygarde core itself takes the form of 10% form when it gathers 10% of the cells. So Zygarde core may indeed just be the simple primal form of Zygarde split up and going around and leaving cells to watch over the ecosystem and and to others, but there are multiple cores out there. It specifically says that in Zygarde Core. The cores are self-aware and can communicate with the cells and other cores via telepathy. So I think what goes on is that 10% form can only be achieved with a core, while I think Zygarde 50% form could be a standalone form of itself, but it just wouldn't have a brain because it would be without a Zygarde core, and that basically what happens is a whole bunch of cells that come together create Zygarde 50% form, basically. But Zygarde 10% form is an exclusive form for Zygarde core to take. But I don't know. We'll have to see what's going on in the next games in regards to this mess of stuff or whatever. So basically, I'm not sure if there are multiple Zygarde or there can be multiple Zygarde, but it might be simple that there's only one Zygarde. So, yeah, and the thing here, it says for complete form, this is the perfect form that Zygarde takes when the core gathers 100% of the cells. So so I don't know if that means that a core in possibly 10% form and gathers all the possible Zygarde cells might create Zygarde complete form and surpass the Zygarde 50% form. Not really sure, but it does say that Zygarde complete form happens when 50% form cannot take it. So I don't know if there are other multiple cores and cells that come together to create Zygarde complete form. I'm not really sure. This is a very tricky Pokemon. It's hard to say for sure what's going on in there. So, yeah. Basically, I expect there to be... Well, see, the thing is, I'm not sure what this would look like in the actual games, because I don't think you would go around capturing these Zygarde cells and then combining them to create 10% forms, and then when you have like 10% forms, you get 50% form, and then then you create another 50% form, or more cells to create 5 more 10% form, and then combine that with the 50%. It's really complicated or whatever, but I think they might introduce a meter within the game. So basically, when you reach 10% of the cells and core or whatever, they'll create 10% form. And that's the Pokemon that you have throughout the whole thing. So you can capture a Zygarde core, a Zygarde cell, or whatever, but you'll need to like combine it, and then the meter will increase. And then the more cells and cores you find will increase the percentage, and then Zygarde 10% form will go up to 49%, basically. So then when it reaches 50% form, that's when it'll change into the normal Zygarde that we know. And then when you collect the final cells and cores or whatever, it'll go up to like 99, and then when it reaches 100%, hypothetically speaking, that's when it will turn into Zygarde complete form. The only issue that I have is I don't know if Zygarde complete form is rather temporary or it's something that you could have all the time. Really not sure what's going on. So that's what we have for Zygarde for now. But we know that within the XYZ anime series and Mega Evolution Act 4, Team Flare are heavily implied to want Zygarde complete form, since it is stronger and greater than Yveltal and Xerneas, so it definitely is the third legendary of the trio, or the strongest of the trio, like Rayquaza to Groudon and Kyogre, basically. So anyway, let's move on from that and talk about Ash Greninja real quick. Now, I'm just going to say that I'm a little disappointed based on what we know of Ash Greninja. It is not a permanent change. It is basically a pseudo Mega Evolution type. Even though it's rare, it's still basically pseudo Mega Evolution without it actually being Mega Evolution. And unfortunately, that disappoints me because I was hoping Ash Greninja would have been permanent. I was hoping that Ash Greninja would have been the permanent design for it, because I figured that's why they were giving this I was thinking that's why they were giving Ash an Ash Greninja, because this was going to be new. You know, I was fine with it not, Frogadier not evolving into Ash Greninja, but I still would have preferred Ash Greninja be the permanent form that happens after it was hit with some kind of energy or whatever, something of that nature. But anyway, this is what it says about Ash Greninja. Plus, Ash's Greninja takes on a mysterious new appearance in the latest season. Ash Greninja is the form that Greninja takes when the bond between it and Ash is raised to the limit. The strength of their bond changes Greninja's appearance and takes on the characteristic look of Ash's attire. This phenomenon is also said to have happened just once several hundred years ago in the Kalos region, but it remains shrouded in mystery. Uh, so yeah, I'm a little disappointed that this is not a permanent change and that Greninja indeed changes into this in a conditional circumstance when its bond with Ash is really high and stuff. I was hoping this was going to be a permanent change because I would like to see this as the Greninja that Ash has all the time rather than the plain Jane Greninja, because we've already seen that enough. And for me, comparing Ash Greninja to normal Greninja just realizes um how boring regular Greninja is aesthetically. It's still cool and everything, but when you see how much effort they put into Ash Greninja, it seems like, well, the Ash Greninja or the regular Greninja is just, well, okay, that's just its default base or whatever, but they didn't really add to it. So I'm a little disappointed that Ash Greninja is not permanent and that it's basically a pseudo mega evolution form that only happens in certain conditions. I could still be wrong, but that's basically what it is. Also, it is definitely not a mega evolution. It's basically a pseudo mega evolution, basically, because this is something that's rarely happened. See, the reason why I wanted Ash Greninja to be permanent was because it seems like it could be similar to AZ's Floette, and AZ's Floette has an eternal flower form where it looks a little bit different, has a little bit different coloring, and it has its own complete different flower. The issue is AZ's Floette is permanent. It seems like Ash Greninja isn't. Now, I could still be wrong. I could still be wrong, and it could be permanent, but it just doesn't seem like it's going to be permanent because the way that we see it in the trailer is that it wouldn't make any sense for Ash to be using Greninja against one of the Team Flare scientists, B Sharp, and I don't know which one had B Sharp. Maybe Birany? I think it was Birany. If not, okay. Well, I don't know. I'll probably have a text correction telling you who it might belong to or whatever. Wait, I have the trailer actually. Maybe I can see who is the one. Let's see. But the thing is, I don't really remember their names. Mabel is easy because it's the blue form, and the orange hair girl had uh, a name. I think like Aliana maybe. Celosia, I think, is purple, and Birany, I think, is green. So, oh, here we go. Here it is. Here's the trailer. So, yeah, here we go. Okay, so B Sharp might belong to Celosia, it looks like, the purple haired girl. Or Celosia, well, hold on. No, it's not gonna say. It seems more likely that Celosia, the purple-haired girl, is likely to have Drapion. The only problem is, well, maybe not. I mean, all we see is Celosia here, so I think well, oh, yeah, Celosia is the one with the purple hair. Am I saying that right? Is Celosia the one with the purple hair? Hold on. Celosia Pokemon. There we go. Yeah, Celosia is the purple-haired girl. So Celosia is the one with B sharp apparently, because the other characters along with Celosia have are just regular Team Flare grunts or whatever. So plus it seems like it takes place in the same kind of day, while no, that could be Drapion as well. So I guess we don't know who has B sharp, but one of the Team Flare. Oh, never mind. Greninja versus B sharp happens at night. So I think it's one of the other Team Flare scientists, probably Bririni or whatever, the green-haired girl or whatever. Let me see if it'll Team Flare Bulbapedia. Let's see. Let's see if they specifically say who has what. Okay, Bririni, the green-haired girl, like I thought, is the one that has B sharp. So Bryony, Briony. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Her Japanese is Bara. Her Japanese name is Bara. So Bara. How do you Bryony? Bryony? Okay. Okay, we'll go with Bryony. Bryony of Team Flare actually has B sharp. I can't wait until this is dubbed so I can get a proper name for her. This one I don't even want to try to think. So Bryony is the one that has a B sharp in the games. Let's see if any of them have Drapion. Mabel has Houndoom and Weavile. We also see a Houndour and Sneasel in the trailer. But this is about Ash, so... Okay, so Celosia, like I thought, was the one that had Drapion. So, yeah. So, yes, Bryony is the one with the B sharp, and that's the one that Ash is Greninja. So, my point is, it's kind of weird that if Ash Greninja is permanent, that it's basically... Ooh. Uh-oh. Hold on. Ooh, I don't like that jittering. Okay. If it was jittering that whole time, I apologize. Oh, jeez. Whew. Sorry about that. Just looking up stuff, I keep forgetting that it messes with my Windows Movie Maker. So, yeah, so basically, yeah, I think it's weird that Ash Greninja, if it was permanent, that it's being used against Bryony and her B sharp. It would just be a little weird to actually see that being the actual case. So I feel like it's temporary, and it's a little disappointing for me. So anyway, I think that's all I have to say about Greninja, other than it's great that, hey, Ash is getting a Greninja. It's really cool to see something like that. So I think that's all there is for the Pokemon. Let me see if I can jump over here to the XYZ preview here, or the website TV Tokyo, and discuss a little bit of the high resolution poster that we got and stuff. And I'll of course show a picture. There's really nothing to discuss since I've already discussed this, and a lot of the stuff that we see on it is going to be discussed when I talk about the trailer. But basically what we have here is, of course, we have almost all the Pokemon that we know. We have Zygarde complete form, we have Lysander, Mega Evolution, or Mega Evolution X. Wait, what am I talking about? Mega Charizard X, Alon, Ash Greninja, Mega Sceptile, Noivern, Dedenne, 10% form if I didn't already say that, and complete form for Zygarde, Zygarde Core, Bonnie, Braixen, Pancham, Eevee, Serena, Clement, Pikachu, Ash, Luxray, Bunnelby, Hawlucha, Chespin, and Talonflame, and I think that's it. So just a little discussion, and it is a little weird that Marin isn't on here, but she may not have as big a role within the main series as Alon, so they may have gone their separate ways, or maybe Marin was captured, or God forbid, the actual dark stuff that in the forums are being discussed, Marin actually gets killed. Woo! That's some dark stuff for a Pokemon series. I've never seen anything like that. I don't think I've even seen anything close to that. Maybe old characters, or maybe something like Ash, maybe kind of dying, maybe, but only temporary, but nothing like Marin dying. That would just be really dark. So yeah, so there's really, other than Lysander's gonna show up, that's really nice. Uh, Noibat isn't on the posters, so the Noivern has to be it, and it looks really cool and awesome, and I can't wait to see the opening, which is apparently voiced by a lot of people's hopes by Rika Matsumoto, the voice of Satoshi or Ash Ketchum in the original Japanese version. Rika Matsumoto is doing the opening, and apparently it's the XYZ theme, which means it doesn't really have its own little thing. It's relating to the XYZ series. Let's hope my Windows Movie Maker is not crashing down and burning because I'm looking at other things. So anyway, yeah, then we see Alon with a Mega Ring with Mega Evolution, with Mega Charizard X, Mega Evolution X, Mega Charizard X. We see 10% form, yeah, okay. So Eevee is with Serena and everything of that nature. So yeah, that I feel like a lot of this is going to happen within the first few episodes, especially with the Anastar Sundial with the main focus in the background of the poster. If we go over to characters within the XYZ anime series, if it'll load, we have Ash and Pikachu, Pancham and Serena, Clement with Chespin and Buttlebee, Bonnie and Dedenne, Team Rocket, of course, Alon and his Charizard, and Lysander, Xerosic, Byrony, Aliana, Celosia, and Mabel, and the Zygarde forms, and Ash Greninja. And so that's pretty much all of the main roles within the XYZ series and stuff. So yeah. So that pretty much covers that. So let's jump right into the trailer now. Okay, so I'm going to look at the trailer here. Hopefully my Windows Movie Maker does not start cutting up and stuff. Oh, no, sorry. You may have already heard that before. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so the trailer starts with regular 50% form, and then it shows Zygarde Core in Bonnie's bag. Bonnie looking really excited and happy. Everyone else is like, what is that in Bonnie's bag? So I'm thinking that something will happen like an explosion and a flying Pokemon will drop Zygarde Core into Bonnie's bag in a similar fashion to Gumi falling onto Ash's head in some sort. So anyway, then we see 10% form glowing potentially into 50% form. And we also see Sneasel and Houndour. I'm sure that's in relation to either Aliana or Mabel, whichever one had it. I think it was Mabel, the blue-haired girl that had Weavile and Houndoom within the games. So this might be a flashback moment. So then we move forward. We see regular Greninja with its eyes glowing, Ash doing something, and then swirling water covering Ash Greninja, which kind of looks like an overpowered Aqua Jet. Might be a new move introduced in the Z series, or a new move that Greninja can learn, but basically I'm not entirely happy with this if it is a brand new move and not just Torrent or some other thing, but I guess we'll have to see. So then it collides with B-Sharp. The reason why I'm upset is because if Frogadier is going to evolve in Greninja, kind of like it's implied to, I'm a little upset that it's not learning Night Slash, because that'd be more useful than just another water type attack. But whatever. So it's battling against a B-Sharp. Okay. And then, of course, we see Celosia with the Team Flare grunts. We have Ash using Pikachu. Sawyer is in the trailer, and he will be appearing in the Team Flare arc at some point, which indicates that the Mega Sceptile on the poster might indeed belong to him. It's not 110%. I don't know what I was trying to say there. It's not 110% confirmation that Sawyer is going to have Mega Sceptile, but right at this moment, it seems very likely because Sawyer is in the trailer. He does have a Grovyle, probably already has a Sceptile by now. just because of anime rules. And it seems likely that he's the one that's going to have Mega Evolution, Mega Septile, Mega Evolution. Sorry, Mega Septile, because it would be kind of weird for random Ash to just show up with his Septile in a random kind of way. We just don't see it. Maybe the opening will show us more, but basically what we've got more indication that it is indeed Sawyer. And the reason why Sawyer wasn't on the poster was because he didn't have much of a role within the XYZ poster. Maybe Sawyer would have been a little bit cluttered and would have given him more importance than what he actually had, but they could have just shoved Mega Septile in there just for hype because Mega Septile is going to show up. So what we have here in the trailer is Ash commanding Pikachu to use some attack against Drapion. Okay, so it looks like Thunderbolt against what looked like, what was it, Venom Spit or Venom Shock or something like that. Some sort of poison type attack, and I'll look it up. And what I think Drapion is using will be, of course, be text over here. So then we see Lysander in like shadows and half his face is covered and he's talking to what looks like possibly Xerosic next to him. Or no, it's Pyroar, sorry. Okay, and then we see Xerosic. And then, of course, there's Celosia and Mabel. And then we see Zygarde 50% form. Then we see Zygarde glowing and changing likely into Zygarde complete form. Then we see Mega Evolution Act 4 scenes of Alon using Mega evolving his Charizard into X, battling against Malva, who has Mega Houndoom. Mega Charizard X using Dragon Claw against Houndoom. Houndoom bites Dragon Claw. Then we see Serena having a fun time with Clement, Bonnie, and Ash. Ash is looking forward. And then Ash and Alon pass by and completely ignore each other based on the preview. And that's pretty much the end of the trailer. So, yes, not quite what I expected in the XYZ trailer, since it seems to be focused on only certain parts. I thought this was going to be like the upcoming episodes preview. Based on the preview, it seems like these are only like maybe 2 or 3 episodes at most. I was hoping for a little bit more, but I guess it relates to the XYZ series, and we'll have to wait until the XYZ anime series before we're going. So before I wrap this discussion up and move on, I want to discuss the end of the XY anime series in general. So if I can go to Sarah B real quick, we can discuss a little bit of what's going to happen. So what we have here, what we have basically going for us here. Come on, Sarah B, load up for me. Okay, so basically what we have going on here is basically the timeline, I believe, is as follows, if this will load up. Okay, so what we have here is we just was at Bonnie Will Take Care of You, the Pamper Tyrant, last week. So basically this following Thursday is going to be a train revisited, Clement and Bunnelby. So that'll happen on the 17th, which is in a couple of days. So then after that, we have Eevee getting captured. Then we have the tag battle with Eevee. Then we have the Pokemon Anna Star Festival showcase. Then we have a Kalos Crisis Battle of the Giant Sundial. And then following that is likely the gym battle. A Kalos Crisis Battle of the Sundial will air on October 15th, which is approximately, if we count this Thursday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks away, and then we'll get into that particular episode. Then in the following week, we get the 22nd, which we can guess is, of course, the gym battle between Ash and Olympia. Basically, because I think the XYZ series basically starts off with Ash moving on from his gym badge quest, and we move on to Team Flare. I have a really strong feeling that Ash is going to get his badge. Of course, that was expected, but they're not going to delay. So right after a Kalos Crisis Battle of the Giant Sundial is likely going to be the gym battle with Olympia, and Ash is going to win. Now, my speculation, and I'm going to try and keep this brief because I want to wait for Pokemon Fan. Hopefully, it'll reveal stuff when it's leaked and revealed, is I expect Frogadier to evolve against Olympia, because by the time that Ash Greninja is a thing, Ash already has Greninja, and it can evolve into Kalos Crisis Battle of the Giant Sundial, because unfortunately Frogadier is seen battling against Olympia, and so far none of the episodes seem to indicate Ash battling Olympia so far. So anyway, moving on for one final thought, I want to clarify something. I was a little bit wrong. I wasn't entirely sure what was being said, but October 29th is a 1 hour special airing the first XYZ anime series with the new opening, of course, and new information. And then I think after that is, of course, Mega Evolution Act 4. Or Mega Evolution Act 4 will air first, and then XYZ, of course, will happen, but it will happen around the same time. So look forward to it on October 29th. So anyway, I think that's pretty much all I have to say for now. Of course, when Pokemon Fan Magazine is coming out, I will do a short 10-15 minute discussing my thoughts and opinions of the Pokemon Fan Magazine, if there's anything of interest that we don't already know, but I will at least talk about it or whatever. So anyway, I don't know if I'm going to do a review or a mini review of the Bumblebee episode. I may just have to talk about that in the Pokemon Fan Magazine, assuming it doesn't come out before the episode. So I might just do a few thoughts of what I thought was great and discussing what I think of the Eevee capture episode, which I think is right after Bumblebee being captured, if I'm not mistaken here. Yes, afterwards is Eevee's capture episode. So that's all I have to say right now on in this particular video. So thank you for watching. I'm Dustin Benzel, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.